Thank you, everybody. I wanted to share this testimony since it happened, which was 2014, but I never had a chance or the right place to do so. And it is not an easy story to tell, nor to write down, because every time I visit those memories, it kind of causes a fight or flight. Well, for me, it's freeze. But God gave me the ability to access the memories and write this story. I kind of wrote it as like a thriller because I do a lot of reading, and I put in all the details on purpose because I want you to feel what I was feeling and kind of see what we went through. So that part I'm actually going to read because my words are better written down than what I can say out loud. So in the early hours of the morning of March 3rd, 2014, we experienced what could only be described as a devastating life event. There was snow on the ground and the temperature was sub-zero. We were tucked in bed sleeping, trusting that nothing bad could ever happen to us. At around 5 a.m., I woke up to go to the bathroom. When I laid back down, I smelled smoke. I thought at first it was just the fireplace and there were a few embers left smoldering. After a few minutes, it wasn't smoke. It wasn't just the smell of wood smoke. It was melting plastic, and I knew something wasn't right. I woke Sean up to tell him, and he went to check the basement where the fireplace was located. He quickly ran back to me, yelling that there was a fire downstairs. I immediately jumped out of bed to find the children, and while Sean got Aiden, who was only 4 at the time, I grabbed Olivia, who was 6. I tried to call 911, but our phone router was in the basement and the call was dropped almost immediately. I could not get through to them, no matter what I tried. I panicked, tried to call again, but the line was dead. We ran out the front door wearing our night clothes and no shoes. I called the dog and we ran to the car because at 5 a.m. we had no idea what else to do. Sean went back to the house to look for the cats, we had 3 of them, and grabbed his boots, but he was gone so long, I was terrified. I was screaming his name repeatedly, but he wasn't answering, and he wasn't coming. In the meantime, he had gone to the neighbor's house on one side to tell them there was a fire, and then I went to the other side, the neighbor on the other side, to wake them up. I asked them to call 911, and they took us in with the dog. Sean finally came back safely, but he had definitely inhaled too much smoke. We had to be treated for smoke inhalation after that. My feet had been bare, as we just jumped out of bed, and were starting to thaw out painfully. I was crying in pain and fear. Finally, the ambulance took us to the hospital. As I left the house, I saw flames engulfing the rooms inside and felt sheer terror. And that image continues in my mind till today. Our whole lives were in flames. At the hospital, I had the difficult task of calling people to tell them what had happened. I remember telling my mom and dad and saying that God had our backs because none of us were injured. After that fact, we looked back on the wreckage and saw that we had lost absolutely everything. There was really nothing left to be saved. Our house had to be torn down completely, and we'd also lost my 3 cats who were impossible to find during the blaze. We found out later that the fire started inside the wall, where the pipe from the stove was slightly offset, and it was leaking the hot gases through the wall. It had been inspected several times for insurance purposes, but because it was inside the wall, there was no way for them to see that was a defect. The fire sped through that inside wall and straight into Olivia's closet, which would have killed her quickly if we had not been woken up, if I had not been woken up by God, and she would have still been in bed. By the time Sean had come back into the house to get his boots and look for the cats, the entire living room was on fire already and was just about to fall in. We could have easily died. However, there are a few things that I learned from this experience, and there were rewards as well. God has our backs. God watches over his children. Psalm 121, verses 7 and 8 say, The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. The Lord will watch your coming and going, both now and forevermore. This was solidified in my heart and mind at this point, and I was eager to share that fact with anyone who asked about the fire. Number 2, God is not finished with us yet. Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you a hope and a future. It has been 12 years, and I know that God has been using us ever since. I've always been involved in the church, but I knew for sure that He had bigger plans, not only for my life, but also our children's lives. He saved us for a reason, and since then I've found my calling as a teacher. My children have not been attending church for a very long time, but I keep them in my prayers, and I have the hopes that they will return. God isn't done with them either, and He has a higher purpose for them. And number 3, even though you may go through periods of suffering, there are rewards on the other side of your faithfulness. For your faithfulness, sorry. Job 42:10 and 12 say, after Job had prayed for his friends, the Lord restored his fortunes and gave him twice as much as he had before. The Lord blessed the latter part of Job's life more than the former part. He had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. Now, I don't have 14,000 pets, but I have been blessed by the ones that have come and gone in the past 12 years. And if anybody knows me, you know how important my animals are to me, and to lose 3 of them was quite devastating. We were also blessed by the insurance payout because everything was brand new in our brand new house. So everything that was gone was replaced with something better, and beyond what we could even ask for or think about. We were fine before the fire, but afterwards, the state-of-the-art sewing machine was a huge plus. God was faithful and protected us. He then rewarded us with things we never even asked for and placed me in the right place to be used by Him. I'm forever thankful that He's with us, and I will never give up hope for my children.